The French Revolution, which began in 1789, stands as one of the most significant events in world history. It marked a radical shift in the political, social, and economic structure of France and had far-reaching consequences beyond its borders. This period saw the end of absolute monarchy, the rise of revolutionary ideals, and the emergence of new political institutions that reshaped the country's trajectory. Several factors contributed to the outbreak of the French Revolution. One of the most pressing issues was the financial crisis that plagued France in the late 18th century. Years of war, including involvement in the American Revolution, had drained the national treasury. Additionally, extravagant spending by the monarchy, particularly under King Louis XVI and Queen Marie Antoinette, exacerbated the economic difficulties. The government's inability to implement effective financial reforms only worsened the situation. Social inequality also played a crucial role in fueling discontent. French society was divided into three estates: the clergy, the nobility, and the commoners. The first and second estates, which consisted of the clergy and nobility, enjoyed privileges such as tax exemptions, while the third estate, made up of commoners, bore the burden of taxation. This imbalance created deep resentment among the lower classes, who struggled under economic hardship, while the upper classes maintained their wealth and influence. Enlightenment ideas further contributed to the revolutionary atmosphere. Thinkers such as Rousseau, Voltaire, and Montesquieu criticized the existing social order and advocated for principles like equality, liberty, and democratic governance. Their writings inspired many to question the legitimacy of absolute monarchy and demand change. In May of 1789, King Louis XVI convened the Estates General, a legislative assembly representing all three estates, in an attempt to address the financial crisis. However, disputes over voting rights emerged, as the first and second estates sought to maintain their dominance over the third estate. Frustrated by the lack of progress, members of the third estate broke away and declared themselves the National Assembly, vowing to draft a new constitution for France. The situation escalated on July 14th of 1789 when revolutionaries stormed the Bastille, a fortress and prison in Paris. This event symbolized the uprising against tyranny and marked the beginning of widespread revolutionary activity. In the months that followed, peasants revolted against feudal landlords, and political upheaval spread throughout the country. In 1791, the National Assembly drafted the first French Constitution, which established a constitutional monarchy. However, tensions between the king and revolutionaries continued to grow. King Louis XVI and his family attempted to flee France, but were captured, further eroding trust in the monarchy. By 1792, France had declared war on Austria and Prussia, as other European powers sought to crush the revolution and restore the monarchy. Amid growing unrest, the monarchy was abolished, and the French Republic was declared in September of 1792. King Louis was put on trial and executed by guillotine in January 1793, followed by Queen Marie Antoinette later that year. This period, known as the Reign of Terror, was marked by mass executions of perceived enemies of the revolution. Under the leadership of Maximilien Robespierre, the revolutionary government imposed strict measures to eliminate opposition, resulting in thousands of deaths. The Reign of Terror eventually led to Robespierre's downfall in 1794. His execution signaled the end of radical policies, and a more moderate phase of the revolution began. The Directory, a 5-member governing body, took control of France, but political instability persisted. By 1799, France was still struggling with economic troubles and internal conflict. In this climate of uncertainty, A military general named Napoleon Bonaparte seized power in a coup, establishing himself as first consul. His leadership brought stability, and in 1804 he declared himself Emperor of France. While his rule marked the end of the revolution, many of its principles, such as legal equality and secular governance, were maintained through reforms like the Napoleonic Code. The French Revolution had lasting effects on France and the world. It dismantled the feudal system, abolished hereditary privileges, and paved the way for democratic institutions. The revolution also influenced movements in other countries, inspiring struggles for liberty and self-governance. In France, the revolution led to the reorganization of society based on merit rather than birthright. It also fostered a sense of national identity and laid the groundwork for future democratic developments. Though the revolution was marked by violence and upheaval, its legacy remains a defining moment in history, shaping the modern political landscape in profound ways.